Welcome to the Blinded Truth podcast, our Truth Search segment where real stories meet real healing. I'm your host, Destinnee Vance, and today's episode is titled Outgrowing People Doesn't Make You Disloyal, It Means You're Listening to Yourself. And you all got me by myself because our co host had something else to do today. I wanted to start this conversation because it's about what happens when you start healing and evolving and choosing differently. And the people around you don't come with you. We're talking about the guilt, the grief, the silence, and the strength it takes to keep going anyway. So, this episode is brought to you by Destiny is by Choice Support Services because your journey, your voice, and your truth matter. Let's jump into today's episode. Let's be honest. Nobody really prepares you for what growth actually costs, right? We talk a lot on this podcast about leveling up, and we talk about healing, and we talk about becoming the best version of yourself. But nobody really tells you that sometimes growth means distance, and sometimes it means being quiet. And being honest, sometimes it means unanswered texts. And it can also mean realizing that people you to run to no longer feel safe to run to anymore. And in that, it can hurt. And that hurts. Because growth doesn't just feel empowering. It also feels lonely as hell. Like there's this lie we've been taught that if you change, you're fake. And if you set boundaries, you're cold. And if you walk away, you're disloyal. But I just wanted to come on here and just say, let me be very clear. Outgrowing people does not make you disloyal. It means you're listening to yourself. And some people knew you when you were surviving. And some people were comfortable with the version of you that didn't speak up, the version that overgave, and the version that stayed quiet to keep the peace. When you start healing, that version dies. And not everyone is ready for who you become after that. And here's another hard truth. Some people don't miss you. They miss the access they had to you. They miss being able to cross your boundaries, and they miss you shrinking. They miss the version you tolerated, the things you no longer can. And that realization can mess with your head like so bad. And you start asking yourself questions like, am I doing too much? Or am I being selfish? Or am I wrong for choosing myself? No, absolutely not. You're not wrong. You're just awake. And growth has a way of exposing dynamics that only worked when you were hurting. And listen, grief, it doesn't always come from death. I had this conversation with a cousin of mine. It comes from endings and from friendships that fade, from family relationships that change, and from realizing you can't go back to who you were, even if you tried. And a lot of times it could be versions of yourself that has died. And you're allowed to grieve that. And you're allowed to miss the people and still choose distance. And that's something we don't talk about enough. Like, you can love someone and still know they don't belong in your next chapter. And healing teaches you that discernment. It teaches you that peace matters more than proximity. That access to you is earned, not automatic. And sometimes growth looks like saying, I can't carry you anymore. I can't explain myself anymore. I can't abandon myself to make you comfortable anymore. That's not cruelty, that's self respect. We have to set those boundaries a lot of times so that people will understand. Does it hurt? Yes. And let me say this for the people who need it. You don't owe loyalty to pain. You don't owe access to history. And you don't owe explanations to people that who refuse to understand you. Cut it out because you don't. And if choosing yourself makes someone uncomfortable, well, That says more about the space they held you in than the person you're becoming. You catching what I'm putting down? Like growth will cost you people, but it will give you so much peace. And that trade is worth it. If you're in a season where it feels quiet, where it feels like your circle got smaller, where it feels like you're walking alone, you're not being punished. I promise you. You're being prepared. And some seasons are about alignment, not attachment. So if this episode feels personal, good. I ain't trying to get up all in your stuff, but I'm here to drop some stuff on you and some good jewels on you so that way you could pick it up. That means you're listening. That means something in it's in you and it's shifting. And I want you to hear this clearly. Before we close, you are not too much. I struggle with that. I struggle with it, like feeling like I am not too much. And that's because of trauma of feeling like somebody making me feel like I'm asking for too much or wanting too much. And you're not disloyal. You are not wrong for growing. Okay? You are becoming. And becoming is uncomfortable because it's beautiful. It is so uncomfortable. So I talked about how so many people want to talk about the butterfly and the process that it goes through. But man, the snake goes through so much growing and outside of his skin. And when you think about it, that snake never goes back to being the same way it was before. So, and when I was reading, it never can go back into the same environment that it was in before. Like, because sometimes those environments make them too vulnerable. So, when you're thinking about your growth and you're thinking about the things that the people, places, and things we teach us in recovery, you can no longer go back to those things because it's detrimental to your recovery. And a lot of times, if you want your recovery to be successful, you can't go back to those same pieces, people, and things. Y'all, excuse me, because let me tell y'all something. These braces have me talking a lot of times. I know y'all be watching these videos and be like, what is she doing? These braces be having me talking like, I got a list. Sorry, I got ahead a moment. But we talk about in recovery day, and not just substance abuse recovery, mental health recovery too. Like you can't go back to those same places, people, and things because it is too detrimental to your recovery. I've been in recovery now for mental health for like over 9 years, and every time I turn around, I'm outgrowing spaces. I'm outgrowing people. If it's messing with my mental, if it's messing with my peace, I don't have time. I don't want nothing to do with it because I want to be a better person. And there's some of you out there that have been like really thinking about those moments. And maybe you've been outgrowing, but you're a little afraid to let go of it. And I'm here to tell you, let go of it. You're going to be the villain in people's story, okay? Girl, I am Maleficent in people's story. And I am totally okay with that when it comes to my peace, my mental health, and the surroundings. Even when it comes to protecting my kids from certain stuff, I will be Maleficent. I will be the bad person because I know what it can do to you. It can keep you constricted like a snake. And it can keep you from growing from the things that and doing the things that is going to help prosper you and help you grow and be a better person. So if you are having that thought of like, I'm not really liking this person no more, or there's some things they show me I'm not really liking, or I am just drained from this person, or when you see that person call, you just like look at it and you think about calling, or the places like if there's places that you've gone and you don't feel comfortable, if you're having those thoughts, then it's time. I want you to remember that your destiny is by choice, not by chance. We always say before we end because it is so powerful. And I want you to put yourself first and put that first foot forward and do what you have to do for yourself. And don't let anyone or anything make you feel or make you shrink to something smaller than who you are because we are big. and we are beautiful, and we have so much to offer. Stop shrinking and keep walking in your truth. Bye.